Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. And let's just say, here are some weapons that you will find absolutely awesome in Star Wars Harbor, even though you probably never really used them that much ever. Anyway, the first weapon on our little collection list, since it was probably sitting there for a long time, is Bad Juju. You might actually use it for a little bit, since it is a pretty infamous weapon, but it's a pulse rifle that is basically automatic, and also has the perk String of Curses. In this perk, basically, when you kill a thrall or literally anything, it refills your mag. It gives you a buff to your super, so you can recharge it faster, and a buff to damage. So, yeah, this perk does a lot, and it can stack up to 5 and like 4 times when it comes to your super. So you can get your super a whole lot quicker than normal, like more than twice as fast. Combine that with Practice Makes Perfect from the Top Tree Gunslinger, and you got yourself a recipe for a whole lot of supers, including the fact that this thing can be has a catalyst. So when you can get your hands on the catalyst, I haven't yet, but when you do, you can create modes of light on multi-kills, charging your super even faster, making it so practice makes perfect with Hawkmoon. Celestial Nighthawk, really viable because you can charge up that one shot very quickly so you can take down all those nightmares around. Although there are going to be times when you don't have your super. That's a good pairing for this weapon is a trusty shotgun, like a good old Ikelos SG, aka the EP shotgun, or a Last Man Standing. Anyway, next weapon. Over here we have the good old Outbreak Prime. The quest is a little bit more obscure and whatnot, although the quest is relatively easier than Bad Juju in the case of it doesn't take too much time. But overall, this thing is absolutely awesome for crowd killing. Not as much as Bad Juju in the case that it reloads itself, but it's more like, one, it has outlaw intrinsically, and two, whenever you get a headshot, every now and then, the nanites will literally explode from the guy's body and eat up all his friends. But other than that, it also has an extra perk that if you get a bunch of headshots on a high value target, like let's say nightmare bosses, you do extra damage the more nanites are stacked on it, making it so you do an absolute ton of damage on single targets as well as dealing with mobs pretty well. And I'd say it's very awesome if you can get a whole fire team or so with good old Outbreak Prime, because the damage stacks even though you're not the one putting the nanites on the boss. And I'd say that is awesome for this thing. So even for a primary, this thing does a very good amount of damage, like damage per second wise on the boss, which is kind of hard to find sometimes. And I'd say outside of the mountaintop, this I'd say is probably second place on there. But anyway, as for your super and whatnot, well, you're gonna have to get that normally and whatnot. So yeah. And as for dealing with ads faster than good old Outbreak, pair with a grenade launcher. Those things are awesome nowadays. Anyway, next weapon. Here we have the good old Fourth Horseman. Weapon from D1 that's been brought back in this, one of the seasons beforehand. And this thing is a random drop, but it's absolutely awesome for taking down the nightmare bosses. It's a shotgun, so it's in your secondary category, aka energy slot. Does solar damage, and, well, it's a burst shotgun. I'd say one of the most unique guns I've ever seen in Destiny, and literally any other game. Like, they have full auto shotguns, but no burst shotguns, which is pretty cool for this weapon. Anyway, the main perk I'd say to highlight on here is Release the Wolves. When you hold X, you can exchange the mag and make this thing fire twice as more in one burst, basically multiplying your DPS times 2 and, well, really outputting a lot of damage, especially since this thing can actually do crit damage. So yeah, it's pretty good. And also it's solar, so if you're dealing with any of those wizards out there, you can pop their shields like popcorn. And yeah, and a few other things to keep in mind is good old Randy's throwing knife. It's awesome for clearing ads for a scout rifle. It has rapid hit and kill clip, which are very good intrinsically, and it's a rapid fire scout, so you can tear down mobs as good as a low rate of fire auto rifle. So yeah, overall, there's many other weapons you can check out. You can probably tell me a few that I missed, but I'd say these are honestly my top pick and the ones that I actually have. But anyway, see you guys later.